Hi guys, my name is Roshali. Welcome back to the channel. And today we are going to see how we are going to present this CA Foundation Business Law and Business Correspondence Reporting paper. So this is going to help you in presenting your paper nicely with your theory papers, how you have to write the answers, which questions we need to attempt first, and how the paper presentation should go. All these things we'll be discussing. For this, we have a certified copy of a student who has scored 60 marks, has scored exemption. That's what our target is. So we'll be seeing how we can score 60 marks in this particular paper and how we have to focus on presentation of the theory paper. Okay, so I'll be taking you through the paper and we'll be seeing which key points are to be kept in mind for paper presentation. Yeah. So see, with the CA Foundation paper, Business Law and Business Correspondence Reporting, the student has attempted in part number A, they have attempted question 1, 2, 3, 5 and 6. And with the part number B, there were choices available. So they have attempted question number 7, 8, 9 and 10. So 7 is the compulsory question, 8, 9 and 10 are the option questions that this student has attempted in B. And in the A, question 1 is compulsory and 2, 3, 5, 6 is attempted where question 4 is left. So we'll be seeing how the student has presented paper and what we should be learning and keeping in our mind before we attempt our paper. So this student has started from business correspondence and reporting. They might have their good knowledge with the business correspondence and reporting. So they have started from this one, from business correspondence reporting section number B. So any section you can start, no issues with anything. You can start with section B, but you have to write the entire section B at one place. Then you have to go to section A. In section B, they have started with the compulsory question number 7 over here. We'll see that they have written all the bits over here. Now, question 7 was a question like based on an unseen passage. So they have written the answers of the unseen passage over here. And there is stepwise marking. You can note this, that there is stepwise marking over here. For the first step, they have been given 2 marks. Like for the entire answer that they have written, they have been given 2 marks. I would suggest you one thing: when you're writing the answers, do not use this star kind of thing. Instead of this, write point wise. You can write 1, 2, 3. This way you should write the point wise things. That looks better and it looks professional for when you write the professional examination. Okay, this is one thing you should be keeping in mind. You can also underline, as the student has underlined the key terms that they want to underline, as we had already discussed in how to score exemption and how to present our paper. So this is how they have written. A question was given to them from based on the unseen passage, and they have correctly given the answer, and they have been rewarded with 2 marks over here. Okay, 2 marks is what they have got in 7A. Similarly, 7A2, there was one question again based on this. So this was 2 marks question, 7A1 was 2 marks question, and 7A2 was also 2 marks question. Similar way, they have written the answer and have been given the marks accordingly. 7A3 was a 1 mark question which is not written by them. So they have been given 0 marks. And total in the question number 7A, they have scored 4 marks. Okay. So that is what they have scored out of 5. Coming to 7B, which was note making, which comes for around 3 marks. And they also had their 7B summary also. That was another bit in 7B, which is given over here. With the note making, you have to keep in mind that you present your notes in the format you want. Here they have given in the heading format and the subheadings and key points. In this way, these notes have been made. And for 7B, they have been given 2 marks. Like for 7B step 1, they have given 2 marks for this. And then for this, they have also given the glossary. So that is key to abbreviations. What all words are used over here, what all shortcuts are used over here, the abbreviations are given. So in 7B, the student has scored total 3 marks, which was of 3 marks question. They have got complete marks in this question because their presentation and all the key points, all the key terms have been written over here. I would say you should avoid writing this PTO. There's no need of it as such. The examiner is going to turn the page, so you need not to mention all these things. Okay. Now, in 7B, there was again a sub-bit that is write the summary of the chapter, the summary of the passage that was given. And the student has clearly summarized this passage. For this, the student has been rewarded with 1 mark because there are some spelling mistakes. There are some things which are not nicely presented. The language problem is there. I've always told you that we need to draw a margin over here. Like when you get the paper, draw a margin and then write, because that makes the paper look nice, and you will have to present only here and here and here. You won't have to write on this margin also. Na? So that is going to give you more space to write the answer, and you'll be able to present the paper nicely. When the examiner sees that both the sides there is margin, he'll be impressed. He or she will be impressed and they'll be eager to read your answer. Try to write your handwriting as nice as possible. I know there is time constraint, but if we can like manage our time well and present our answers nicely, that is always going to give us a plus point. Okay, this is how 7B was presented. That's where question number 7 ends. And with the question number 7, the student has entirely scored 7 marks. Out of 10, they have scored 7 marks. So that's a good score for question number 7. Coming further with question number 8, 8A, there was a question given based on courteousness. So they have given the answer for this particular question, and that was a 2 marks question given based on the communication chapter, which has been rightly written, and point-wise answers are given. Instead of stars, I told you, you can write point number 1, point number 2, point 3, and point 4. That will give you good marks. Write these point numbers inside the margin, over here only, inside the margin. Don't write outside the margin. That will become confusing for the exam. Okay, that will be confusing for the paper check. Then again, in 8B, there were 2 questions given on guessing the synonym and antonym of a word. For synonym, the word was pathos and the answer was emotion. So there are 4 options given to you. If you are a little aware about one option also, attempt the question. See, the student has attempted the question. Though it was wrong, but try to attempt it, because there's no negative marking for the objective marks. Then there was a word, beauty, elegance. So for this, they were asked for antonym, and gotcha is the correct antonym for it. And the student has scored 1 mark. Similar way, 8B, there was another question which was based on the grammar. So this grammar question gave the student 1 mark. And in 8B, this particular child has scored 2 marks. Now, coming to 8C, they had asked for precise writing. And in precise writing, this question was for 5 marks. This paper has been presented, and this answer got only 3 marks. So this is where you can score a little more in precise writing. You can be more detailed about few things, and all the keywords you have to underline. See, the student has also underlined, which will give you extra marks. Okay. Then comes your question number 9. Again, a question is based on communication, attitude barriers. So this you have to present the answer as you want. You can give a heading, or you can start writing directly also, but avoid making stars and give the point-wise numbering. That will help you to present your paper better. Again, there was vocab questions which the student tried to attempt, and a grammar question similar to question number 8A and 8B. Okay. Then there was article writing, which comes for 5 marks. In article writing, you have to remember the format that is given for article writing, and you have to write the answer in the same way. Okay, the student has presented the answer and has scored 3 marks in this question. Article writing question, they have scored 3 marks. There is scope of improvement. That's why the examiner has given 3 marks, and this answer is nicely presented by the student. So maximum you can expect to get 3 to 3.5 or 4 marks also if you present it very nicely. Okay. Then coming to question number 10. This is the last question from section B, which the student has attempted. This question was formal communication and the types of formal communication. 10A was based on it. This is the 2 marks question. Again, they have given the heading of the question. What are the types? I would suggest whenever you're writing things, just make it point wise. If you're writing it sub points, make it 1, 2. Don't use this arrows and all. better write 1, 2, and 3. Okay, that will make the paper look nice. Then with this sub ones, you can again use 1, 2, and 3. Right, so that makes the paper look nice. And avoid writing PTO, that is going to give a wrong impression, or the examiner doesn't know that they have to turn the page. So it's better you avoid writing that. Then 10B is again grammar based question here. So similarly, they have given the answer for grammar as directed, whatever question was given to them. Then 11C is again attempted over here. Worries of new generation. This question also you have to attempt. This seems to be 10C, wrongly written as 11C. So this one is 10C that has been given by the paper writer. And with 10C also, you have to present your answer. This is again an article writing question. Okay, where the student has scored 3 marks. Now you see here, the student has correctly ended over here. Source has been written. In the previous article, source was not written. For source writing also, they give you half mark. Okay, so it is important to you mention all those things that are important for your article. If you're writing your article on your own, then okay, you don't mention the source. But if you're writing from somewhere or they have given you some reference, so you have to mention the source. This is question number 10. It has been wrongly mentioned as 11C, for which examiner has the right to deduct your marks. But examiner has not done that for the student. Maybe they have not noticed it properly, but you have to correctly mention your question number. This was question number 10C, so you have to correctly mention it. Okay. I hope we are clear with section B. There's no doubt in section B. Okay, let's proceed further with section A. Now, the student has not attempted the compulsory question first. They have attempted question number 2. You can take any question of your choice, but you have to complete one section at first. Section B was completed first. Now they have gone to section B. Now, in section B, they had been given a question based on a case study where they have written the facts of the case, provision. See, agreements made out of love and affection are valid agreements. Statement mentioned here is true, but it has some conditions to be fulfilled. So here they have justified what statement was given and they have said some conditions are to be fulfilled. Now, this section number is mentioned. You have to write the provision. What provision was given is mentioned. That is going to carry your marks. And then example is given. It is important, like if something has an example in our textbook and we remember that in our module the example was given, then you have to mention that also. And your answer is like the question was about validity of a particular condition. So if the contract is valid or not, you have to mention it and highlight it. So examiner will focus on that particular thing and it will help you to score marks. This was a 5 marks based question and this student has 4 marks based question and the student has correctly got 4 marks. This is how you present. First, you have to write down the provision, or you can also write down, if you want, you can write facts of the case, then provisions, or provision, facts of case, and conclusion. This is how you should go. I would suggest this will be a better one, provision, facts of the case, and then your provision. That gives a clear view that examiner will get or the paper checker will get that you know the provision well. Then you mention the facts of the case and write the conclusion. Right? If there is any example you want to involve, you can definitely involve it. Coming to again question number 2. Question number 2B has been written. It is not necessary that you write it over here. If here also you write question number 2 at the beginning when you start over here. When you start writing your question over here, question number 2A is written. Okay, you can start with 2, 1 this way. No need to again mention question number 2A. The examiner won't get confused about it. So if you want, you can skip this also. It is not very much important. Then what was there to be asked? Promise to pay time barred debt cannot be enforced. So no, the statement mentioned here is not true. If you want, you can mention the question again, or else if you skip also, you just start writing from here. That is also going to give you marks. No marks will be deducted over here. Okay. Now, as per section The provision has been mentioned over here. There you will get 1 mark. And then here they have given the conclusion. Hence, if person promises to pay a time bar debt and signed by him, his agent is a valid and enforceable. The above said rules are exceptions to section 25. See, this is how they have presented this answer. And the student has scored 3 marks. This is how we'll go for the question. So 2A, the student has scored 7 marks over here. Coming to question number 2B. This was 2B. Now, they have given you difference basis of LL. They have given the basis how they are differentiating LLP and LLC. Points are mentioned correctly. Underlined things are there where the examiner will give you marks. The examiner will focus on the things that you have underlined, and wherever you have written right, they'll be giving you marks. So every step has a marks. Every step contains marks, and that is how you'll be writing all things point-wise. If you know 2 points, write 2 points. You'll get your marks for 2 points also. Here you see the student has given 5 marks, like 5 points have been given by the student. And the student has scored 5 in the question. So the points have been given. If you write 3 correct points, you will be scoring 3 marks. But it is important that out of 5, if you know 3 points, you will get 3 marks if all of the 3 points are correct. Got it? Yeah. Let's go ahead. Then we have our question number 3B. Again, this is a case study based question. So provision is mentioned over here properly. Then analysis. You can also do like this. Provision, analysis. There you can write your facts of case. Analysis is nothing but your facts of case. And then you can write a conclusion. Provision, analysis, or facts of the case and conclusion. If you want, you can just give a number over here. 1, 2, like provision is your 1, analysis is your 2, and conclusion is 3. This should also go into sub-points. Rather than writing a paragraph, I would suggest you write it point-wise. That looks nice and present. Now, the examiner has checked the paper and found that the provisions were correct. There they have given 1 mark. For provisions, there was 1 mark allotted by the set paper suggested answer. So 1 mark has been given. Coming further, you see analysis. Analysis has been written, conclusion has been written, but the conclusion seemed to be wrong. This conclusion was not correctly written. And that's why the examiner has given only 1 mark over here. That in this case, the provision, there might be 2 cases, and the second case was correctly mentioned. So here 1 mark more is given. 1 more mark is given by the paper checker, and this person has scored 2 marks. So 1 mark has been given for provision and 1 mark for the correct answer. That also in case 2. There were 2 cases given over here. In case 2 only, the student has written correctly. So they have been given 1 mark for provision and 1 mark for correct answer of case 2, correct conclusion of case 2. Okay. Here analysis didn't get your mark because that is just copy pasting your provision, the facts of the case. So here there was no marks allotted, but it is compulsory. You have to compulsorily mention your analysis. What do you think about this? You have to mention your facts of the case and then relate it with your answer. That is what your analysis is. And with the conclusion, you see this conclusion starts from here. Here in case 1, he has given wrong answer. So 0 marks. But you see for case 2, they have given wrong answer, so 0 marks. For case number 3, the conclusion was right, the provision was applicable, and here they have got 1 mark. Right? So all the steps have marking. If you are in a hurry and you did not mention all the things correctly, but some points you have mentioned correctly, you are going to still get your marks. So it is important you write all the points. Provision gives you 1 to 2 marks based on the size of question, 1 or 2 marks. Conclusion gives you 1 mark always. Right? Hope I'm clear till here. Then we have our question number 6, and they've again mentioned the provision at the beginning. and they have written down the provision correctly, which the examiner has checked and given them the marks accordingly. For writing the correct provisions, they have been given 4 marks. So this is a provision based question. So all the provisions are clearly given and the examiner has given 4 marks. 4 provisions were asked and they have been given. Avoid making the arrow. If you have already written the number over here, point number 1, point number 2 over here, then don't make this arrows. Avoid doing that. That also gives examiner a bad impression. So avoid doing that. This was just a provision based question where the student has scored 4 on 4. When you mention the correct provision, you'll get 4 on 4. Now, then they had to distinguish between partnership and co-ownership. Partnership and co-ownership, basis of discrimination is given or basis of comparison is given over here. This was again a question where the student scored correct marks. Right? Hope we are clear till here, page number 26. Then this comes a blank page. You should keep in mind that if there is a graph page or something, put a cut, put a cross. Just a simple cross with your pen, nothing else. No need to involve your pencils also. Then we have 6C, which was a case study based question. So the student has given the provision, analysis, and conclusion. For all these steps, the student has got 3 marks. And overall, in question number 6, they have got 10 marks. You can see they have scored 10 marks over here. Here, the conclusion thing, there something went wrong, and that's why they have not been allotted marks. Now, this is supplement number 2 after 28. I guess there's some scanning issue because this is 1A step 1. Okay. So with the stepwise things, they'll be giving you marks for your provision based question and your questions based on your case studies also. Provision is to be correctly mentioned as over here. The provision is given, rule is given, highlight exceptions is given. You need to underline the things you feel important for presenting the paper nicely. Conclusion is written, analysis is to be written. That's how you score good marks in your case study based question. Provision, analysis, and conclusion. Okay. Then with this one, they were not able to mention the correct provision. So they have been rewarded 0 for this question. And for question number 6, the total comes out to be 6 marks. Question number one, the total comes out to be 6 marks. And question number 1 is your compulsory question. Then coming to the next one, question number 5B. Avoid writing it over here because you're already writing here. So you can write question number 5 and B also you can write outside. Then you can start with the provision. Now, 1-person company provision was asked. They have correctly mentioned OPC companies, then how many people are there as a member, private limited, section 8 company also can be made. Then private companies definition, etc. is given over here. Then facts of the case, again, analysis part is given and conclusion of the answer. This person has scored 3 marks in this question. 1 marks for their questions answer, like 5 step 1, where the provisions are correctly mentioned. And for step 2, they have mentioned the rather second provisions. There also this person has got 1 mark. And 5B step 2, step 1, they have been given 1 mark for analysis and conclusion. That's how you score your marks over here. Then 5B has a subbit. You can write over here 5B and you can also write outside subbit. Listed companies definition is given. The definition as per the provision is to be mentioned. Unlisted companies definition as per the provisions is to be mentioned. Okay. Now this paper has been scanned up and down, I guess. Then 1A, which was earlier, has been written over here. And the provision went wrong. So this student has been given 0 marks for the provision. So key things which we need to keep in mind is for case study based question, provision, then your analysis, or you can write facts of case and its relation to provision, relating it to provision, and you have to compulsory mention your conclusion. Your provision can be 1 to 2 marks. Analysis will give you 1 mark, like they'll give you in total only. And with the conclusion, you can get 1 or 2 marks based on how many points or how many cases different have they given you with the conclusion. Okay. This is about the case study questions. Direct questions, if they ask you for differentiation, differentiate between, you have to make a column, or you can just divide your page into 3. Here you can write your basis. Okay, I'll present it here nicely for you people. Then you can divide your page into 3 parts. Suppose company, private company and public company. Right? So here you have to write your basis, point number 1, point number 2, 3, then you have to write it. You have to keep in mind that this should end on 1 line. Okay, if it ends over here, it continues till here, and point number 1 for private company has ended here. Don't start from here. Complete it and draw, like you can't draw a line because there's no much time over here. So skip that line. You can leave a line and then you can start with your second point. That helps you to present your paper better. Okay. And coming further with your BCR subject, the questions you're well aware, try to attempt them first. You can attempt any section A or B first, whichever you like. If you're sure about your section A, go for it. Attempt all the questions of section A, then jump to section B. Don't go here and there. You can't go from section A to B and B to A. That is not allowed. Okay. Attempt all the questions subbits, like question number 1, A, B, C together. And then you have to start with question 2, A, B, C. You can't do this. Question 1A, question 2A, question 3A or B. No, this is all wrong. You have to follow only this method. Right? I hope all things are clear with the presentation, how we have to do for a theory paper, and you'll be giving your best in the paper. Right? And I hope all these points will help you to present your paper nicely and score great marks in your examination. All the very best, and prepare well, give your best shot. Thank you.